The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get $100 in free bets. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by IPVanish. IPVanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off if you go to ipvanish.com/SGP. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. And make sure to check out Draft Day 2.0. Starting August 9th at noon Pacific, Ryan Real Money Kramer will begin drafting for 24 straight hours. The Fantasy Football Marathon will raise money for Daryl, a loyal listener who was injured in a motorcycle accident. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft day for more details. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Friday, August 5th, currently 5:07 here on the East Coast. Here to break down the games for Saturday. It'll be a turbo episode. We'll give you our lock, our dog, and our total for the Saturday action in Major League Baseball. And helping me to break it down and also give out his picks is the superstar of the show, young talent out of the Great Lakes area, is my main man, Noah Beanick. Noah, how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty well, Munaf. I don't know if I'm a superstar, but I would say one of my teams played like it in the Pittsburgh Pirates. They swept the Milwaukee Brewers. And, I mean, it's about time to just start force-feeding Cardinals it's the Cardinals to win the NL Central. It is their division to lose. We've already talked about it on the podcast many times.
Yeah.
You mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, the Brewers traded away their closer and they got walked off twice by the Pirates in 3 games. This is the Cardinals division to lose.
Yeah, it really is, because last night when I was watching the Brewers or was it last night or the night before, but it was the Cardinals game I was watching as well. They had the doubleheader with the Cubs yesterday, and they won both of those games. And I just kind of wanted to quickly check the odds on what the division odds were for the St. Louis Cardinals to win the NL Central, and I mentioned it in our Slack channel, to you and Dylan, and I also reached out to a couple other guys that I respect that know baseball, and they were all on board. And I said that it was at plus 150, and by the time I went to go back and check, I'm guessing this happened after the Cardinals beat the Cubs in the second game of the doubleheader. That number moved from plus 150 down to plus 110, but I still feel like I agree with you that this is still the St. Louis Cardinals division to lose down the stretch. And we've talked about it multiple times since the trade deadline and post All-Star break as well, is that they still have the second easiest schedule remaining.
They do.
In entire MLB. I think they have 7 games left head-to-head to go up against the Brewers. And I think they have several games left in their division against the Pirates, the Cubs as well, and the Reds. So, I'm glad you're in agreement with me about the Cardinals here, Noah.
Yeah, on the deadline pod, I gave them out at plus 200. I think the All-Star game, it was plus 220.
Yeah.
And now it's plus 110. It's coming down. Everybody else is seeing it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that's a good enough price. They're tied for the division lead right now. But the other thing, I came in hot with the Cardinals thing, but the other thing I wanted to talk about, what's going on with your Red Sox, man? The other night, Yordan Alvarez got a 4-strike at bat, and then last night they hit a home run off the foul pole and Cora gets tossed. What's going on over there?
Were either one of those the Red Sox fault?
No, I don't think so.
outside of the hit that they did give up to Salvador Perez, which I think at that point they were already up. The Royals were up 4-3, but instead of it supposed to being a 3-run home run, maybe 2 more would have come across the plate. But the umpires I think they were wrong in that case where it went off of that foul pole. I mean, Cora got ejected from that game, but I didn't even see it. Nobody really knows what he even said. Maybe he had said something to the umpire, but it probably was very subtle on what he said to the umpire to get him tossed, because it's not like he was all up in his face where, and cussing up a storm. I don't know what was said. I didn't really read the post-game interview either from Cora, but it's been an atrocious season for the Red Sox, to say the least, and it's been a weird past couple 2 series, I guess we can say, at least for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I look forward to the John Boy clip because they have a zoomed up camera on Cora and he's just smiling, and then all of a sudden the umpire turns and tosses him,
Yeah.
and then Cora lost his mind. Then maybe a couple of swear words might have leaked out,
Yeah.
but before that, when he got tossed, I didn't think he did anything to deserve
Yeah, and I was watching the game live because I did bet the Red Sox yesterday. But
it.
yeah, it was the craziest thing to see how he got tossed out of that game. But again, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. There's going to be a lot of interesting decisions to be made for the Red Sox in the offseason. But we'll get to that in the offseason. Anything else happening around MLB that you've noticed?
No, those were the two main things that I wanted to come into the podcast mentioning. Let's jump into some of these locks, dogs, and totals.
Yeah, we'll make this a short episode like we do on the weekends. Malcolm's he's out, Dylan's busy with work. He's traveling.
Yeah, both of
Is
them are on
Dylan.
vacation, right?
Yeah, so me and Noah here will grind it out for you guys. But before we get into the picks, let me tell you guys about our presenting sponsor and where you can actually get down on these picks over at WinBet. Thinking of joining WinBet? Now is the perfect time. New customers who bet $100 get $100 in free bets. And if you're betting baseball, you have to check out WinBets and their reduced juice in baseball games, which makes them the best place to bet on the MLB. Plus, the WinBet Casino is always open 24 hours a day, where you can get a 100% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. There's so much to choose from, and all you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so they know we sent you. That's right. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bets today. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 years or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Draft Day 2.0 with the man is a maniac. Ryan Real Money Kramer will be drafting fantasy football best ball teams for 24 hours straight. Yeah, that's right, 24 straight hours. The drafting starts on August 9th at noon Pacific. The crew will be raising money for Daryl, a loyal listener who was injured in a motorcycle accident. You can draft with Ryan and a ton of special guests. All the details are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft day. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft day. All right, Noah, let's get into our picks for the Saturday schedule. Let's start it off with our total because I know you and I had some agreement on this pick. But it is in the same game. So I'll let you lead this off here. Your total pick for the Saturday games in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, we always try to make sure we don't duplicate a play. We're kind of skinning the cat a few different ways in this game. So the game is the New York Yankees and the St. Louis Cardinals. And for me, I'm going full game. Munaf has taken it some other way. He's twisting it another way. But over 7.5 is the number I have right now, minus 115. Starting it off with a nice simple trend. 5 of the Yankees' last 6 games have hit the over. But what this game is destined for, or why this game is destined for the over, is the pitching matchup. Some may say it's a revenge game for Jordan Montgomery, but the Bronx Bombers are the number 1 team in OPS this year against left-handed pitching, with a 806 OPS. And do you have a WRC plus stat ready for your statement too?
Yeah, for against left-handed pitching, which Jordan Montgomery is for who's starting tomorrow. New York Yankees number 1 WRC plus over the last 30 days.
Yeah, so ticking boxes left and right here. And if we think that Domingo Germán is a legit starter right now, I think we're a little crazy. In 2022, he's 1-1 in 3 starts. None of the 3 starts are quality. 6.39 ERA, 10 strikeouts, 6 walks, and 12.2 innings pitched. And there is a possibility that Monty deals against his old team, but I think more than likely, the zebra is painted in stripes for a reason, and the Yankees should be able to pounce on him, and the Cardinals will definitely be able to pounce on Domingo. So I think this over 7.5 is a pretty easy, may I say, lock, even though it's not my lock. I like the over 7.5 for the game.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here. I took the first 5 over. I believe since the total is at 9 for this game tomorrow 8.5. No, it's 9 tomorrow, right? Sorry, 8. I see it 8 now. Yeah, it's 8.
Oh, I grabbed it at 7.5.
Okay.
a
All right.
half hour
Yeah,
ago.
I still like it at 8 though. But I'm taking the first
No,
5.
me too.
Yeah, first 5 over. If it's at 8, then that number is probably going to be right at 4 there for this game. And I'm surprised to see this was it's at this number between these two pitchers. And
Yeah.
you highlighted everything there. Jordan Montgomery has been giving it up early over his last 5 starts against opponents. I know this is his first start with the St. Louis Cardinals since he did get traded there. But over his last 5 games, Jordan Montgomery 0-1, 5.55 ERA. He's if you kind of even look at his final scores, 4 out of the last 5 games have gone over that number of 8 for the Yankees final scores, and their bullpen has not been very good either. But the one thing about Jordan Montgomery is that he's been giving up the runs within those first 5 innings as well. To the Royals, he gave up a 4 spot. In the 5th inning, he gave up 5 to the New York Mets his couple starts ago. So, and now you have Domingo Herman on the other side, who this season on the road 0-1 with the 8.22 ERA in 2 games started. 7 2/3 innings pitched, 7 earned runs he's allowed in that span on the road. So I think these guys will give it up early and often. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see this game fly over the number of 8 within that first 5 innings, so we both can cash early and
Yeah.
don't have to worry about sweating about it, Noah. But yeah, I'm glad we're in agreement here about this. So you're taking the full game over 7.5. You got it at. We still like it at 8, and I think
Yeah,
that
I,
first.
I would even take it like 8.5. I really think that Domingo Herman gets blown up, and
Yeah.
Monty's going to contribute it a little bit. So
Yeah, and I think this series and the Dodgers and Padres series is going to be one of those series that we see runs being put up
yeah,
between those 4 teams. So
I think on Saturday night, if you're looking for like one potential under, I think it was Clevenger and who is it?
Andrew
Anderson.
Haney.
Oh, Heaney. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that one could be the under because it's not
Okay.
on national television. So maybe they don't give the juice balls for that game. We'll see.
Is this a Sunday night game too?
This one's the Saturday night game, but it's not on Fox. The Fox game is Cincinnati. It's Cincinnati and the Brewers. So yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to see what the Sunday night game is. I
Good
wouldn't
point.
be surprised if it's not the Padres. And
I would be surprised too.
let me see here quickly before we get into our dogs.
See.
Sunday, yeah, it is Padres and Dodgers. So
Let's
it's
go.
you Darvish and Tyler Anderson. The 6 o'clock Central Time game on Sunday night. All right, Noah, let's keep the train rolling here, my man. Let's get over to our dog picks of the night for Saturday. I will let you lead it off. What do you got?
So I'm going back to this game. I had it yesterday. I really liked it. I bet it. And we're doing it again. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. The Pirates money line is plus 125. The Pirates just swept the Milwaukee Brewers, like I mentioned at the top of the podcast. And in game 2 of the series against Baltimore, the Pirates' best pitcher, JT Brubaker, takes the mound in 2022. I mean, ignore the record. It's 2-9, but he is a pitcher for the Pirates. He's got 6 quality starts of those, 4.40 ERA, 3.76 road ERA. So he's a full run better on the road away from PNC. 105 strikeouts this year with only 42 walks and 104.1 innings pitched. And pitching for Baltimore is one of my favorite pitchers to fade right now in this season. There's absolutely no reason for why Austin Voth is favored in this game right now. This season, Voth is 1-1 in 7 starts, none of them quality, 5.54 ERA. At home at Camden Yards, where a lot of these pitchers are pitching better with the moved left field wall back, he has a worse ERA of 5.73, 49 strikeouts, 16 walks, and 50.1 innings pitched. I think Malcolm kind of fell in love with my Pirates team earlier this year, and I'm kind of jumping on the train a little bit later than him, but this is, again, another day that I like Pittsburgh against Baltimore. Yeah, I really like the price, so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, we know the Pirates are going to be underdogs and probably the rest of the way for the rest of the season. But I think we saw it, when we talked about the Friday night games as well, is that we both like the Pirates in that game just because of the price. And No, I'm not sure that these pitchers, like you said, should be favored north of minus 140 in these games, which does create a little bit of value on the Pirates. And the Pirates, I mean,
Yeah,
they swept the Brewers. They have some guys in that offense that can hit the ball. I mean, I'm not going to go through the list because everybody knows who they are.
yeah,
But I think there's some value that is created on the Pirates here. And you talked about it. Austin Voth has just not been very good at home this season. He does have one win in four starts, but that ERA is at 5.18 for him. He's allowed 14 earned runs in 24 and one thirds innings pitched at home. Um, so JT Brubaker, he's been pretty solid on the road, despite being winless. His ERA is only
yeah,
3.71. He just seems like he's not getting that run support
yeah.
from his team. But I think that they're starting to hit a little bit better. Are the Pittsburgh Pirates? So hopefully that you can squeak this one by as your dog.
Yeah, I'll mention this too. Is like Baltimore does have a better bullpen, so if you're a little bit like I don't know, afraid of playing Pittsburgh full game, first five I completely back. I just wasn't going to give it out without odds, and I can see plus 125 for the game, so I'll take that.
Yeah, and they'll still be an underdog within the first five
Yeah,
innings, probably around a plus 105, 110 price, if I had to guess. But yeah, either way, I think there is value on the Pittsburgh Pirates. All right, for my dog, I am gonna go over to that game between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies. I'm gonna take the run line here on the Arizona Diamondbacks here with Merrill Kelly on the mound going up against Antonio Sensatella. Currently, I am seeing the run line minus 1.5 plus 120 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Merrill Kelly has been stellar in his starts against, I'm sorry, the Rockies this season. Overall, he's 10-5 with a 2.87 ERA, 104 strikeouts. He does have 38 walks. Over his last five games, he's 3-0 with a 1.31 ERA. He's only allowed five earned runs in 34 and one third innings pitched. And this season against the Rockies, Merrill Kelly, and let me filter this down to just this season. He's 2-0 with a 1.15 ERA. The Diamondbacks have won both of those games by at least three or more runs in those two starts. 15 and two thirds innings pitched for Merrill Kelly. He's only allowed two earned runs to the Rockies, like I mentioned so far this season. On the other side, like I mentioned, is Antonio Sensatella for the Colorado Rockies. He's 3-6 on the season, 4.87 ERA, 48 strikeouts, 20 walks. Last five games, he's 0-3 with a 5.84 ERA. He's allowed 16 earned runs and 24 and two thirds innings pitched. On the road this season, 0-4, 6.16 ERA, 21 earned runs allowed, and 30 and two thirds innings pitched. Against the Diamondbacks this season, he did have one start. He only was able to last two innings and gave up three earned runs to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he's really struggled against NL West teams as well. 1-3 with a 4.34 ERA. So his last appearance, that was a game where I believe, yeah, Merrill Kelly started that game as well, where the Diamondbacks won that game 9-3. So, um, I'm gonna back Merrill Kelly here. I think we're getting a nice plus price. He's in good form. He has good history against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Sensatella winless on the road so far this year, struggled against the Diamondbacks. So at the run line of a plus 120, I'm gonna back the Arizona Diamondbacks here with Merrill Kelly. Noah.
yeah. I was eyeing this one as a lock, but the price was a little bit too pricey for me. But absolutely love the play, and I didn't know the little nugget about his three starts and them covering the run line in all three. Anytime you can give me a little bit of logic on to fade the Rockies bats away from home, I know it's there. I know you have to do it, but I just want to hear it and a stat that I can back on it. And yeah, you sold me on that play. I love it.
Yeah, so that's my dog. So recap, you are taking the Pittsburgh Pirates as your dog against the Baltimore Orioles, and I am going to take the run line at plus 120 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, with Merrill Kelly on the mound versus the Colorado Rockies. Before we get into our locks for the Saturday schedule, let me tell you guys about IP Vanish. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well give away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why we at SGPN use IPVanish VPN to make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. This means that your private details, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. You can use IPVanish on unlimited devices without sacrificing on speed. Your computers, tablets, phones, even devices like your Fire Stick when you're streaming media. Whether I'm at home or in public, I don't go online anymore without using IPVanish. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish is super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're instantly protected. You won't even know it's on. Stop sharing with the world everything you stream, everything you search for, and everything you buy. Take your privacy back today with the brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. So go to ipvanish.com/SGP and use promotional code SGP and claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. Last but not least, let me tell you guys about our newest sponsor, Odds Trader. What is Odds Trader? Odds Trader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promotions from sports books to get the best deal. The app also provides player statistics, key game stats, injury reports, and projected game day weather for bettors to make the most informed bets possible. It also has a bet tracker so bettors can keep track of their records of all your games that you're betting on and plus your betting activity. So, like I mentioned, they have a lot of great features to help you become a better bettor. Play-by-play updates, live scores, and bet tracking. Like I said, player statistics, key game statistics, game day weather. And I think that's huge for baseball when we talk about wind direction, things like that. So they give you all that information. And also a one-stop shop where you can also keep track of your records for all the betting that you do. So all you have to do is go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. That's oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. Odds Trader, the number one site for all your game day bets. All right, Noah, let's close out this podcast strong with our locks for the Saturday schedule. I'll let you lead it off here. What is your lock for the Saturday games in MLB?
So real quickly, I like the idea of doing this, just running through the slate of like the confirmed pitchers and just kind of eye what kind of matchups I like for strikeout props, because those are some things that like you and I lately loved doing. I think Brubaker has a great matchup against the Orioles. Just scrolling down, just seeing which ones pop off. Nick Lodolo against the Brewers, Aaron Ashby against Cincinnati Reds.
I like both of those because left-handed pitching.
Yeah. Merrill Kelly against the Rockies. And it's not a great matchup, but he's pitched through bad matchups lately. My guy, Reed Detmers, in 6 straight starts, he has 6 strikeouts or more. In his last outing, he had 12 strikeouts against the Texas Rangers, who like hit left-handed pitching pretty well. So, I mean, this guy he's absolutely rolling right now. I picked him up in fantasy too. I love seeing this guy succeed because I did it while he was in college as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any other guys that jump out off the pitch?
Nick Lodolo is he a lefty?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the strikeout percentage over the last 30 days against left-handed pitching. Milwaukee number 1 at close to 30%. Cincinnati is number 3 on this list at 28.3%. So, I think we'll be maybe a same game parlay if your book does offer that. You can also bet that at WinBet as well. So, I do like that. I think those were the main guys that I saw when I was kind of looking at the schedule for tomorrow. I think that was it. I think you cover the ones. I feel like we both share a brain on guys that we are targeting. Shane McClanahan,
we talk to each other every day, each week. So how can we not?
I think Shane McClanahan might be another guy. A little teaser to my lock, but I think that he might be a guy that I do like tomorrow as far as strikeout prop. But other than that, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Noah.
Yeah. I mean, since you teased your lock, I started total and dog. Do you want to start the lock?
Yeah, I'll start the lock. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays with Shane McClanahan on the mound. against the Tigers. And, McClanahan, he got off to, I think, a little slow start post All-Star break. Coming back, after the All-Star break, he did get, hit a little bit in that game, in the All-Star game. But his last start, he got hit by the Cleveland Guardians as well, where he did give up 5 earned runs and 4 1/3 innings pitched. But I'm gonna back him here going up against the Detroit Tigers. So far this season on the road, Shane McClanahan 2-1 with a 1.99 ERA, 45 1/3 innings pitched. He's only allowed 10 earned runs in that span to the opposition on the road. Overall in the season, we know the numbers. He's been, in that Cy Young conversation. He's 10-4 with a 2.07 ERA. We know about the strikeouts, 158 to only 23 walks so far this season. Does have one start this season against the Detroit Tigers where he went 7 innings, only allowed 4 hits, and gave up 1 earned run in that game. I'm going to see if I can find that final score in that game for Shane McClanahan against your Detroit Tigers. They finished that game 8-1 victory for the Rays. And I know the offense has kind of been, struggling for the Tampa Bay Rays, but I think there's an opportunity here when they're going up against Garrett Hill for the Detroit Tigers, who's 1-3 on the season with a 5.88 ERA. He's 1-3 over his last 5 starts. 5.8, like I said, 5.88 ERA. So he's been consistent with that ERA, not only on the season, but over his last 5 games. He's been pretty good at home, but I think that this might be a spot where, he gets a little trouble and maybe Rays can find their offense a little bit. 4 straight losses in his last 4 starts for the Detroit Tigers, and the opposition has won every single one of those games by 2+ runs. He's given up 3 earned runs or more in this last 4 starts. He's has at least 2 walks in 4 straight starts. So maybe, if that number is probably going to be a 2.5 for him tomorrow for Garrett Hill on that walks prop, but we'll keep an eye on it. If I see a 1.5, I may just take the over on that. But as far as my pick here, I'm going to go with Shane McClanahan and the Tampa Bay Rays against Garrett Hill and the Tigers on the run line here, -1.5. I currently see that price at 130 for this game tomorrow. For Saturday. So that's going to be my lock.
Yeah, I have to say, I guess I like it because I had capped Garrett Hill yesterday, and they moved him back there instead, starting Brian Garcia for Friday's game. So, yeah, I mean, everything that you mentioned about Hill is correct. And then even worse, he has a 7.20 ERA in the month of July. So, I'm right there with you. And this Tigers team, the offense is brutal. They jumped on Alek Manoah, but most of the time they struggle against the elite aces. So I think McClanahan just rolls, and hopefully for my fantasy team, he just rolls.
There you go. I was going to bring up real quick the strikeouts for McClanahan, but Detroit are they're right in the middle of pack 16th in K percentage over the last 30 days against left-handed pitching. So depending on what the number comes out from McClanahan there, Noah, I'm sure we'll discuss that tomorrow, but something on the radar.
Yeah, you don't get the free 2 strikeouts against Javier Baez when he's swinging at a slider 3 inches outside. So that's basically the pitch that the right-handers throw, and they get 2 strikeouts against him in the lineup. And also that might help your case too, because yesterday he made 3 errors in the game. So just not going well for him. He's got 17 on the year. And technically, I think he was only credited for 2 of the errors yesterday. It was 3. So
now you got me curious to see how many he averages per season, but I'll try to dig that up while you do give out your lock for the day.
The thing that I guess grinds my gears the most is in April, he was making all these flashy defensive plays. And yesterday there was 2 of them where he could have gotten dirty and made the play, but they went under his glove. So I think they gave him an error on one of them and no error on the other one. It was back-to-back at bats. So really tough. And then the other one was a throwing error. And it's just brutal. The team's tough to watch. And we made the first out at third. It's just 9U baseball that you can't get behind. Did you find a number, or you want me to start?
You can start. I'm still looking for it. I don't know why it's so difficult to find that number, but why don't you get out your luck, and then hopefully I can dig it up in that time.
All right. Okay. So my lock is going to come in an AL Central foe. I like the Chicago White Sox against the Texas Rangers tomorrow. The White Sox are plus or minus 125. I don't know why I wrote down plus 25. Minus 125 tomorrow for the White Sox. Bumping for Chicago is my guy, Michael Kopech, he's 4-7 on the year. He's got 7 quality starts. So he's got a 3.12 ERA, 81 strikeouts. The walk count is a little bit high at 46. That's why the price is a little bit low here. 95.1 innings pitched. He has a 2.39 ERA in his last 4 starts. He just doesn't get any run support from this White Sox team. I'm hoping to capitalize on what the White Sox have been doing lately because I do think that their bats are showing some signs of life in the past week. Texas, they're starting Dane Dunning, who's 1-6. He does have 8 quality starts, so he's another guy that kind of like Kopech doesn't get much run support from his team when he's on the mound. 4.30 ERA for Dunning, 93 strikeouts. Again, his walk total's high too at 43 walks in 106.2 innings pitched. The thing that stood out to me about Dunning is that he has not been in great form lately. He has a 6.77 ERA in July. So with the White Sox bats hopefully just heating up a little bit here, I know they lost game 1 against the Rangers in a low-scoring affair, but over the last week they've been doing pretty well. So that's going to be my lock. And as I mentioned earlier, just check the graphic because I may throw a strikeout prop on there instead of this one. But Chicago White Sox, that's my lock.
Yeah, the White Sox. The one thing about them is that, like, right now they're finally healthy. Right, Lewis Roberts is back in the lineup for the Chicago White Sox, and I believe you said Michael Kopech's going tomorrow, correct? For the White Sox. The record is not there for him, but his ERA has been respectable this year, where it's actually 3.12. On the season, he's 3-3 on the road, 3.09 ERA. But I just feel like the Rangers, they're just not doing well. Over his career, Michael Kopech has gone 7 2/3 innings against the Rangers, and he's only allowed 1 earned run in that span. And this has been between about 4 different appearances where he's come out of the bullpen. And he's had 1 start back in 2021 last season where he did have 5 innings and only gave up that 1 earned run. So the history is there for Michael Kopech against this team. Dane Dunning has been a guy that we have faded on the road, but there's no way I can put my money behind him. He has a 1-6 record with a 4.30 ERA, like mentioned. Just hasn't recorded a win over his last 5 starts, 0-1, 4.74. He has been better at home, but the one thing that really does stick out to me here against AL Central teams, he's 0-3 with a 7.94 ERA. Let me see if I can wiggle this down to how he's done against the White Sox. He had 1 start last year where he got hit for 5 earned runs and 2 2/3 innings pitched. So when you have a healthy lineup like the White Sox do now with Lewis Roberts back, they're a team that can put up 5+ runs on any given night. Like, up and down this lineup is one of the better ones when healthy in the American League. So I will co-sign that with you. So
you mentioned the health.
Yeah.
Lubob, Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Eloy. That first 4 is just up there with any in the league.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a lot of power in those first 4 two guys as well. So just to recap our locks. Noah is going with the Chicago White Sox with Michael Kopech on the mound against the Texas Rangers with Dane Dunning. And my lock is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays run line, Shane McClanahan versus the Detroit Tigers with Garrett Hill on the mound. Just to wrap up the Javi Baez talk. So I don't know why I don't see a number for his errors on in 2021. But 2020, he had 15 errors.
15 in like the 60 games? Holy moly.
Yeah, let me see how many games it was. Javi Baez. Yeah, so he played in 56 games. In 2020, he had 8 errors in 56 games. And then 2019 was a year where he had 15 errors in 128 games. So as great as the leather and the flashy plays that he does make, there's always those boneheaded plays that he always does makes with the errors with we know at the shortstop position there.
Yeah.
Anything else, my man? That's gonna do it. I know it's a short episode.
It just sounds like
Yeah, go ahead.
My bad. Wi-Fi was just delayed, but it was really bad. Go ahead,
No,
just
no, I was
close it
just gonna
out
say,
because it's just all negative for Hobby.
yeah, it's just bad for Javi. I mean, I think as a Tigers fan, you're probably thinking, how can we pay this guy that amount of money for
Oh,
that amount of
I
years?
was saying that when we signed him, I was like,
Yeah,
no way. Like he was like not probably. He was, in my opinion, like the fifth option of the shortstops on the market, and then
yeah.
we went out there and still paid him the big contract. So it is what it is. He's probably nearing a career high in errors. The season's over anyways, so who cares?
I really thought Correa would end up there just because the rumors were
Me
Correa
too.
ending up with the Tigers in the AJ Hinch connection. So
Yeah, they were going out to dinner every week. That was the rumor. It was
yeah,
just like really weird that he didn't land here. We just didn't want to. We didn't want to pay it. We didn't
yeah.
want to pay it.
All right, so that's gonna do it for this edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast. I'll give you our lock, dog, and total for the Saturday games. Like Noah said, make sure to check the graphic that we do put up on our MLB Gambling Podcast Twitter account in case things do change. But we really do stay true towards the picks that we do give on the
It's most
pods.
of the time just the odds, you know.
Yeah, the odds change just because we record usually a day before when the odds do come out. But we plays that we give out, we're betting them for sure. So hopefully you guys are cashing along the way with us. Shout out to Insano, loyal listener of ours and always in the chat. So hope you have a good weekend, Insano. Know anything else before we get out of here, my man?
No, just gonna this weekend write an article for fantasy on RB heavy draft strategy or robust RB, however you like to say it. Moonoff, are you into the fantasy football stuff?
I am. Last year I actually won a league. I had a
Sweet.
really good team last year. I think I was drafting with guys that didn't know what the hell they were doing. But it was it was good to collect a little bit of money and actually win a fantasy league. So
I
yeah, I
won
usually
two.
do about 2 or 3 a year. So if I get one championship in there, it's always a good year.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I do like three or four. I won two of them last year though.
There
Like
you go.
my guy Stafford went away, so I knew I could probably steal him late in rounds, and took Cup too in like the sixth round. So he was a league winner for sure.
Yeah, it's already draft season. It's crazy to think about it. So,
I
like
know,
Noah
dude.
said, check out the website. A lot of great stuff happening with our fantasy football podcast and in our football
They are
writers.
taking off.
Yeah, especially with all the content that's happening. So make sure
Yeah.
to give them a follow and subscribe to their pod as well.
It's like
Um,
SGPN Fantasy on Twitter. I think that's what it is. Their
yeah,
tag.
yeah. And again, when you follow, you'll see all the other SGPN Twitter accounts that we do have across all the pods that are happening on the network. All right, Noah, that's gonna do it, my man. Good luck, everyone, with your picks this weekend. We will be back in some form or fashion for the Monday games. Enjoy your weekend. Bet responsibly. Let's break these books off and let it ride.